Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very senior and accomplished learning and development professional and leader from Colorado, USA, Candice Mitchell. Candice, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Candice is the founder of Talent Development Academy. She's the talent development mentor for L&D leaders. So, Candice, let me start by asking you, tell me a little bit about your own journey and what inspired your entry into the space of L&D.
Yes, and that is honestly one of my favorite stories to tell
Uh-huh.
because I was one of those lucky people who found what they love. Like, I literally love this work. There is nothing that lights me up um, as much. And I found it in college,
Mhm.
university. So we had a guest lecturer come in. I was busy studying my honors degree in organizational psychology.
Mm.
And we had a guest lecturer that came in, told us all about learning and development. And I just could not believe that that was a job. I was like,
Mm.
is this for real?
Wow.
And it was in that moment, I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Mm.
And that is what so I got an entry level job as a learning and development administrator 18 years ago. And it is all I've done. I love it. I love the people. I love what we do for organizations and every single person in it. So yeah,
Wow.
it's a love story,
I
really.
know. I mean, very seldom do I see such incredible passion about the work that a person is doing. Congratulations. And
Yeah,
that's very
yeah.
wonderful. But tell me, my next question, Candice, is what personal challenges did you face on your path from task taker to trusted advisor?
And so many, honestly.
Hmm.
And I always say I kind of went backwards. So I started in a company that really valued learning.
Hmm.
And even though as a culture, they really did. They prioritized their people. We spent so much money. Our team was well resourced. We had budget.
Hmm.
We were at the seats, right? The seats at the table. We were not like we didn't have to fight for that seat. We were demanded to be at that seat. It was never a
Hmm.
question, right? So
Hmm.
that's where I started. That was the culture that I grew up in. And so I just thought that was normal. I just thought that L&D was part of the business, was a strategic partner. Like, it's obvious, right? We enable people to perform their jobs. It's
Hmm.
so obvious to me. But then when I went on my own and I started working for clients and I got back into the corporate world, I realized that that was an anomaly and that like putting together a PowerPoint slide deck was more of the norm. And it
Hmm.
was shocking to me because I don't get that. Like, I just
Hmm.
cannot wrap my head around learning and development not being a strategic partner. Like,
Hmm.
it doesn't make sense to me. And so having had that experience of seeing the value that we
Hmm.
add and then almost like going backwards to being that order taker,
Hmm.
it was shocking to me. And that is
Yeah.
what led me to develop the Talent Development Academy.
Hmm. What a great response. Thank you. Candice, what values or philosophies have consistently guided your professional journey?
Oh, um, and I can go all the way back to that, my love story of my career. I want everyone to have that. Like, I feel so strongly because I don't wake up on Monday dreading work. I
Hmm.
really don't. Like, yes, there's hard times, obviously. Like, I've been laid off. I have not got internal promotions 4 times, and my colleagues have. Like, and that was a devastating story. Like, I was top performer and I still didn't get the promotion, and I actually have
Hmm.
a whole thing on that. But
Hmm.
so let me not say that I'm coming with these rose tinted glasses and my life has been easy. It
Hmm.
absolutely
Hmm.
hasn't been.
Yeah.
And after I was laid off, I applied for 147 jobs and didn't get
Hmm.
them. Like, so there's been some tough times,
Sure.
but honestly, I love the work I do. And I feel so deep down, like in my core, my values, my everything, like what my company stands for is that everyone deserves to love their work because
Mm.
it's such a huge part. And I don't want to
Yeah.
sound cliched. Not every day you like skippity doo. It's like, do you feel this value, this purpose, this like you actually making a difference and you
Mm.
matter? Every single person should feel like that about the work they do.
Well said.
And that is a very core, strong belief I have.
Well said. Uh, let's now talk about your talent development academy.
Hmm.
What gap did you see in the L&D industry that led you to start your own academy?
Hmm. Oh, love this because that is my baby. I always say like, that's the love of my life. Don't tell my husband. So
Yeah.
um, I put that academy together because there is so much out there, right? There's so many free courses that you can do. There are endless webinars that you can attend, but there's no journey. There was no, and I will, get on this like hill and speak about this all the time
Mm.
that we need to create this learning context for our people. We need to put it into context. We need to take them on a journey from A to Z. And there was nothing like that for L&D. We always had to piecemeal, we go to this webinar and then we buy that course. And
Mm.
it's, and even some of the thought leaders in our industry, definitely not going to name names, are doing incredible work.
Yeah.
But I went through that learning and I was like, okay, I'm very proactive and I'm sitting through that learning, writing down, okay, how does this apply to me? How can I use this?
Mm.
But there was no journey and there was no one to ask. So
Mm.
if I got stuck, I was like, I'm stuck. Nothing. I
Mm.
can do
Mm.
nothing about it, right? I can Google
Yeah.
again. But so I wanted to create this thing and it's for that strategic partnership. So this is not like entry level, how to put a slide show together. Like this is to become that strategic partner, and
Yeah.
it is the A to Z. There is nothing missing, and
Mm.
I am on the other side. Like
Mm.
we have a community of amazing people. We have vice presidents in there, directors, we have individual consultants. Like
Mm.
we have the cream of the crop, and everyone is there to help people succeed.
Right.
So yeah, that's
Very well
that's the
said.
gap I
Well
saw.
said. Well said. And how does your academy support L&D professionals differently from there are so many other training programs or certifications?
They really are. And again, it's the support that makes us stand out. So again,
Mm.
I am on the other side of that email you send. Like, and that's never going to change.
Mm.
I get to know every single member,
Yeah.
and I've even put together personal development plans for them. There
Mm.
was something missing. So for the individual consultant, they were like, oh, I don't know how to put a scope to work together, a scope of work together. I created a template.
Mm.
Like this academy, I wanted to be everything a strategic partner in talent development needs,
Mm.
and that is the place. And so it's the support, it's the community, it's the journey, because it's everything. It is
Mm.
everything you need, and it's nothing that you don't. There's no fluff. There's no, because, and I call it one-way webinars. There's
Mm.
no one-way webinars. Like it's a community. There's comments and chats, and when we do I do like a 6-week onboarding coaching, it's
Mm.
live. Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. You can ask your questions.
Mm.
It's not just me preaching. It is very tailored and specific. I really believe that learning and development professionals are, and even my branding is this ripple. So we have a ripple effect where we impact every single person in the organization. And so the better we are at our work, the
Yeah.
better our ripple effect.
Mm.
And I want to support people for
Mm.
that. Yeah.
And the word ripple actually conveys the all pervading or all-encompassing impact L&D professionals have in organizations. Very well
Mhm.
said. My next question for you, Candice, is what is the biggest mind shift you help L&D professionals to make?
Mm. Oh, and I've thought about this a lot. I have a whole brand guide with this stuff, so
Mm,
I've thought about this. But I think the main one is that we are not a support function.
mm,
We are not a support function.
mm.
We are strategic partners. We
Right.
are business drivers.
Mm,
Like we should be leading. We are not coming up from behind. Like we
mm.
should not be in conversations at the end of the conversation. Training should not be an afterthought.
Yeah.
Like we are at the front. And that is what I want everyone to understand. Like,
Mm,
yeah, we do not just create training. We literally enable people to be amazing at their work. Like, and back to my core, principle is like everyone should feel amazing about the work they do.
correct.
We enable that. Like
Mm,
we are at the front. Yeah.
mm. And therefore,
That's the
your
main
response gives me an interesting segue to my next question.
one.
Why do you think L&D professionals are often overlooked as strategic leaders?
A few reasons. So the first reason is that we come in at the end.
Mm,
And and again, I've seen both sides of this story. I have been in an environment where we were first, like literally our learning and development leaders went with our sales leaders, like to benchmark, and they wrote the strategy together.
mm,
I've seen that. And then I've seen, oh, we're doing this big initiative, this project, and months down the line, they're like, oh, we need training. People need to
mm,
know what we're doing. And I've just seen the
mm,
outcome of that is like, and but so it's the first reason why we're not seen as partners because we're not partnering. Like
mm,
we need to be partnering from the beginning,
mm.
not as an afterthought. So that's the first
Yeah.
reason.
Mm,
The second reason is that we talk too much about learning. So I always say it's learning lingo.
mm,
Drop the learning lingo.
mm,
No one cares about gamification. No one cares about your learning outcomes.
mm.
They care about what is this going to enable my people to do?
Right.
Like, what do you need? What are
Mm,
you going to do? And what are my
mm,
people going to be able to do? We
mm,
don't need to go into, the theory and Bloom's taxonomy. Like, no one cares about that stuff. And so
mm,
drop that. And the third reason, and this was mind blowing for me, is that we don't get to know our customers,
mm,
the employees that are going to do our training.
mm,
I spoke with someone that was like, oh, yeah, we haven't even met the team that we're training on Monday. And I was like, what?
mm,
Like, I literally went and spent hours at like depots watching our truck drivers load their trucks to understand what their process looks like. I
mm,
spent months on the road with our sales reps just to
mm,
understand what their work looks like. Like, what are their problems? How are we going to solve this?
mm.
Yeah, and so that is key. We don't get to know our customers. So that's the third one. And
You
I'll
know,
leave it at that because
yeah,
I can go on, but I
you
won't.
could, you could be a marketing person as well, and I'm sure you'd love that job as well. But I'm hoping your comments will be understood and implemented by a lot of young professionals who will listen to our conversation, and I'm sure many of them would be L&D leaders as well. Candice, my next question is that do you believe instructional design expertise is enough? Or do you believe L&D leaders must learn business acumen as well? And you already answered part of it, but I'd love to get more information from you.
Yes, absolutely. So instructional design on its own, I will hand on heart say is not enough. Like
Mm,
there's no way. But if you are a pure instructional designer with
mm,
just that skill, you need to be partnering with other people. So
mm,
maybe you don't have the breadth and you don't want it, right? You love creating the curriculum. That's your sweet spot. you love doing that stuff. Like,
Mm,
because, and why I'm saying that is because that's actually how I work. So I am not good at creating the content, but I
mm,
am good at doing the storyline,
right.
the what we need to cover, how we need to position it, all of that. And then I
Mm,
work with instructional designers to get
mm,
that, like, to make it come to life. So
mm,
you don't need the skill in one person,
mhm,
but you need the skills in the team, or at least in a partnership, because there's many learning and development teams of one. So
mm,
you just need to, if you are the instructional design pure expert, you need to be partnering with the subject matter experts very deliberately, and
mm,
then getting to know the people that you're creating the course for is even more important.
mm,
So that's a bit of a yes and answer to your question,
mm,
because
mm.
you can just be an instructional designer, but then understand that you need to pull in the business acumen. But if you are one person, you absolutely have to have business acumen,
Mm.
because otherwise you're just creating
Correct.
content.
Correct.
And yeah, then, and we won't get into this too much, but then honestly, AI will take your job.
Mm,
Like, it's going to happen, because AI can create content
correct.
and it doesn't have the business acumen
Correct.
yet.
Correct. And of course, in the last 8 to 10 years, I've been noticing the CHRO is now becoming a critical factor or a part of the C-suite of most of the large organizations. What are your thoughts on where the L&D leaders should be?
Mm. Oh. Yeah, and again, in my other side, where I experienced L&D as a reactive function,
Mm,
learning was not even invited, not even just to the C-suite, but was not even invited into management meetings.
mm,
And we just miss a step. It's like a broken telephone. We're just not getting the information we need.
right.
And it's just not helpful for anyone. So I
Mm,
don't see why to deliberately cut learning out of very senior, like the top and the first conversations, because they enable the people. So whatever the C-suite want, whatever the CEO wants to achieve, you have to take your people with you. The person who's
mm,
going to take
yeah.
your people with you is
Mm,
the L&D person.
right.
So, and yes, the chief HR officer will also help, but it is the L&D person that's going to build the capabilities your people need to achieve your goals. And
Mm,
so best you invite them in. I don't necessarily need to see a chief learning officer at the table, because otherwise you're just getting too top heavy.
yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that that's a requirement, but you absolutely need to bring in your L&D person into the main conversation, and that's like now with even clients I work with. So I'm an external person. You
Mm,
best believe I'm talking to the CEO.
mm.
Like, so
Amazing.
I can create
Yeah.
things that are actually helpful for them.
Correct.
Otherwise, what is the point of me being there?
Correct. What a great response. Thank you. I have time for two more questions for you. My next question, Candice, is what excites you the most about the future of talent development, especially given so much technology coming in?
Mhm, mhm. Oh, and this I'm so excited for, because I really believe, and really, I've been in this industry for almost 2 decades now. So I've seen ups and downs and ebbs and flows and back and forth, and I've seen it all. But right now, and I truly believe this, like you can see in my face,
Mm,
that we are becoming so much more important,
mm,
because people are getting lonelier. People are getting sort of misplaced with technology. Like, oh, what's my purpose? Like, why do you need me? I can just ask AI to do this. Um, but also we get to drop the mundane. And
mhm,
that is so exciting for me, because I've never liked it. I've always been strategic, and like, where are we going, and looking at the future, and how do we bring the people along. And that is going to be our make or break. Like, if we stay stuck, and I actually did a post on this the other day, like, L&D is not dying. Can we just please stop fear mongering? old school L&D is dying and I cannot wait. Like it's got to be gone. Like we cannot just be doing content. We cannot just be doing training. We are not just the support, come in at the rear kind of people. We are going to be critical leaders to business success. And so that is so exciting for me.
Fascinating. And my last question for you, Candice. What is your message to every L&D professional who feels unseen but full of potential?
Oh, contact me.
Absolutely.
I've got your back with that one. No, but seriously, and that's so many people. So I've actually done, I've spoken with 103 L&D practitioners in the last 18 months to really understand how they feel, and that's a huge one. So that question is huge. Like, let's not underestimate that question. So many people feel like that, and my message to you is just stop waiting. Stop waiting to be seen. Stop waiting to be asked into the conversation. Like, you belong in the conversation. Like, best you get in there. Like, lead, be proactive, step forward. Just stop waiting. Honestly, I see it too many times and it breaks my heart, honestly, because what are we waiting for? Like, our time is now. Like, we need to lead. We need to step forward, step up and lead. So stop waiting.
Wow. And on that very, very powerful comment, stop waiting because your time is now. Thank you, Candice, for speaking to me about your journey. I think we covered some fascinating ground on the subject of learning and development. You made your point very powerfully about how L&D has to be right at the center table of every organization. They need to be in the room, and that your time is now. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.